All right. Hi. Welcome to Chicks Talking Pics. If you haven't joined us before, we're glad you found us. And this is a bi-weekly image discussion with two nature pros, kind of nature nuts. We like judging images. We'll tell you why in a minute. And we review images that are sent in by people just like you. So thank you for joining us today. I'm Sandy Zelasco, owner of Sandra Lee Photography, a pro photographer specializing in wildlife and conservation, and been in business nearly 30 years. You can see some of my work at investinnature.org. And hi, Janie, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks, Sandy. I'm Jenny Wolf. My formal education is in biology. I worked in restoration ecology for many years. I'm also a hot air balloon pilot, which is where most of my current photographic endeavors lie. You can see my work over at wolfheartimages.com.
All right, super. Glad to have you on board, Jenny. This has always been fun. We're getting into our good stuff. So why don't you explain what the channel's what our objective is here today, Jenny?
So what we're trying to do is give viewers a look behind the scenes at what happens when the judges are looking at your photos during a photo competition. We're hoping this will improve your photography, make you look at your own work more critically, be a little more intentional when you're taking the photos as well as when you're post-processing them, so that your photos are better understood by the judges and just viewers in general.
All right, so that's perfect. It's exactly what we're here to do for you. And we'll tell you how to send in images at the end of this little session. So Jenny and I have been judging at the San Diego County Fair, one of the biggest and oldest county fairs that there is. We see, or the judges there see, about 10,000 entries every year. And we've been doing this for quite a few years. And we decided we were going to get together and do a little session, little YouTube channel like this, so that we could review some images, because we noticed that they just miss the mark. They just don't quite make it to the second level in competitions. So we're here just to help you. We just want to, give our opinion and help you improve your photography. So let's get started with the first image. Okay, let's go on. Let's see, this image is from MaryBrenda McQueen. Thanks for sending in your image, MaryBrenda. And Jenny, how about you? Do you want to start with this one?
Okay, thanks, Sandy. So first off, when we're judging competitions that include flower photos, we do see a lot of flowers on black backgrounds. This can be done very effectively. In this case, it's a little busy. There's just too many flowers. I don't know exactly what while they're very pretty flowers, are you trying to show the variety of flowers, or what exactly are you trying to convey here? The other issue is the lighting is a very harsh front lighting, which gives the image two-dimensional, which, I mean, obviously it is 2 dimensions, but you can create depth if you use some other lighting situations. There's also a lot of distractions in the photo. So why don't you go ahead and take it over, Sandy, and I'll...
Sure. Yeah, I agree with you, Jenny. It's a little bit busy for a competition photo. I think you need to think about really what your story is, what you're trying to tell the viewer, what you want the viewer to look like here. There are many distracting things for me. The stakes that are holding up some of the flowers with little zip ties, I think a water line that's in the middle of the, just under those really pink flowers. So that has a few things that bother me. Jenny circled the leaf down in the right-hand corner that looks to be not as optimum as it could be. Another thing is everything's really close to the edge. On the left side, you've got things that are inside the frame, but on the right side, that leaf is going in a post, or a stake is going off to right out of the frame, and um, it just isn't really, for me, isn't that quite that pleasant of a composition to look at. So what we would suggest you do, and I think Jenny will be in agreement with me, is narrow down to what is your focus and where your focus is. Like for instance, maybe even doing something with just the three colors in the kind of in the foreground. You've got a speckled one, a white one with a very nice pink on it, and then a really pink one. So I see the difference in all the flowers, but I don't think you can tell the entire story in this frame like you have it. I think you need to do something a little different. And then again, let's take a look at MaryBrenda's settings on this. Let's see if we can. So she shot this at 1/25 of a second, which is totally fine if you're on a tripod. I think you need to be on a tripod for a for a like a still life image that you're doing in your living room, or some other room in the house at f8, which f8 seems to be handle the situation well. It looks like everything's in focus from the front to the back of the flowers. Maybe a little soft on the flower up top, but I didn't get a chance to look at 100%. And ISO 500. So that worries me. That tells me you were probably not on a tripod. And I'm going to encourage you to go to the tripod and shoot at a lower ISO.
Mhm. Yeah.
Jenny, what else do you think? What else can we add to this?
I think some of the suggestions that lighting changes, like using some side lighting or some back lighting,
Mm-hmm.
would give it a little more depth, or a little bit of rim lighting would enhance the flowers.
Yeah, with that backlighting, if you just put a light, a really small, soft light in the background where you can't see it, and have it focused towards you, the light coming towards you, but disguised by the flowers, because you don't want to see any of that light. That light will catch the rims of all those flowers and give you a more defined look, and make those flowers pop off the page more. Yeah, good. Well, I hope that helps you, MaryBrenda. We're going to go on to the next image. Let's see what you've got here. This is another one sent in by MaryBrenda McQueen. So thank you very much. This is a lovely image. It's so cute. Globally, I think there's a couple of things that I want to talk about. And I'm kind of guessing you might have cropped this image somewhat. I don't think this is right out of the camera because it's more of a square crop. So I would suggest leaving a little more room in front of these little lambs. They're so cute, little baby bighorn sheep. Look at those little feet and their little toes just touching the ground. You've implied movement. That's nice. What I do see globally, though, is a lot of color noise. And let's take a look at the settings that MaryBrenda used. So she was shooting that at ISO 6400, which we all know higher ISO speeds are really harsh on the noise. We get so much more noise in our subjects and backgrounds with a high ISO. And I can with the naked eye, or with these glasses on, I can see the color noise in the lambs, in their coats, on the background. So I can understand it was probably late at night or early morning where you didn't have a lot of light to work with. So I tell my students, just bump your ISO up. But there are some third-party plugins, so you could purchase, or if you don't already have on your computer, that will help eliminate some of that noise. You can even do that in Photoshop and Lightroom with some tools. So you might try to use a little bit of noise reduction on that. Jenny, why don't you take it from here?
Okay. So in addition to everything you've said, they they are very cute. One of the things that catches my eye is the, rump here is a little hot. And that could either be handled, if this is a raw image, maybe your raw converter can pull some detail out of that. But the thing is, I'm seeing that before I'm seeing this cute little face here. And so you want to have, or the other face as well, have the faces brighter than the areas that you don't want to look, because your eye is automatically going to go to the brightest spot. So I think add a little bit of brightening in their faces and taking down some of these hot spots that are on both of their, the light's obviously coming from this angle. There's a nice catch light in their eyes. It'd be great if you could get some separation on the two heads, but that may or may not have happened while they were walking.
Yeah, I like the catch light in the eye, because you can tell it's a canyon behind you. It looks like you're in a dark canyon, and that the sky is really showing up in their eyes, and that's a really nice catch light.
Yeah.
A large one, but it works for this image, I think. And I totally agree with you, lightening up the face of at least that one in front. Again, but that may be a little hard to do with
You're going to add noise.
the noise. Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be a little hard to do. Just adorable. Now, Jenny, as far as competition goes, what do you think?
Probably, I mean, sometimes it depends on what else is there, but it's got a little bit of a story, which sometimes trumps the technical issues. It would be on the fence whether it would go on. I think it would depend on the rest of the images in the competition.
Yeah, I agree. Just maybe a little bit more in front of that lamb, and maybe not make it quite so square, make it a little bit, and try to get rid of that noise.
Right.
A nice vignette. I think you've added vignette. It looks like you might have, but even a little bit more, maybe. I don't know. Some people love those vignettes. Some people do not. So
I think it's about the right amount of vignette for me.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There seems to be a bit of a glow about it. And I don't know if that's a post-processing thing or if that was the actual lighting.
Yeah, which is beneficial to the image, I think.
Yeah. It's not unpleasant.
Right.
That's for sure.
And I think you're right. That rump is now that you pointed it out, and I didn't see it in the first place, is very distracting. That really white area in the rump. Doggone it.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
I know. I know we're being really picky, but you know what? This is what we do at the judging table. Jenny and I we sit down and have these discussions. If it's not an immediate, it's out of focus, we're not going to accept it. It's a discussion like this, and whether we want to accept it to the second round or, just make further comments on it. So, well, MaryBrenda McQueen, thank you very much for adding your images this week. We appreciate it. We're Chicks Talking Pics, and you can email us images at chickstalkingpics@gmail.com. Please make sure your image is no larger than 1920 pixels on the longest side, and it's in JPEG format. If you don't want your image critiqued or discussed, then don't send it in, because Jenny and I will discuss it. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to that email address to us also. Now, remember, judging is subjective, and our comments come from years of experience, thousands of image reviews, and our own practice in the field, and on the computer at post-processing. We may not know everything, but we do have a little bit of knowledge about a lot of things. So let's, Jenny, why don't you give them the YouTube site?
Okay, so if you want to see more of these, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell with the all drop down there so that you get notified of the next episode.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Bye.
See you in 2 weeks.